Hello everyone, and welcome back to the CEO Nutrition Education channel. Thank you all so much for joining us. We are going to begin our lesson today by focusing on the storage of fresh greens. There are generally 3 different categories when it comes to separating the types of common greens. These categories include our lettuce greens, greens with stems, and our herbs. I selected one of my favorite greens from each of these categories to demonstrate how to properly store each variety and thoroughly wash for consumption. In the lettuce greens category, I chose green leaf lettuce. In the greens with stems category, I chose kale. And in the herbs category, I chose cilantro. Do you have a favorite fresh green from one or all of these categories that you enjoy purchasing from your local farmer's market? Pause the video and let us know in the comments section below. Before purchasing our greens and herbs, we want to make sure that we're choosing the freshest options. When selecting our greens or herbs, we should check the leaves and make sure we are selecting greens with leaves that are crisp and bright green in color. There should be no yellowing or brown spots on the ends or stems of our plant. The best way to store your produce will vary slightly based on the category it fits into. But once we bring our greens home, we should generally store them unwashed and in the refrigerator. Each type of green from the 3 different categories I mentioned before has a slightly different storage requirement. Lettuce and salad greens, such as my green leaf lettuce, should be placed dry in a plastic bag with a paper towel and sealed shut. Greens with stems, such as my kale here, should be chopped off the end of the stem. Then we should wrap just the ends in a damp paper towel and seal the greens in a plastic bag. Herbs, such as the cilantro I have here, should be wrapped as the whole bunch in a slightly damp paper towel. Herbs do not need to be rinsed before wrapping in a paper towel and storing in a sealed plastic bag. By storing your greens properly in the refrigerator, they should last anywhere from 3 to 10 days. Before preparing or eating our greens, all leaves must be thoroughly washed. To wash greens properly, place in a bowl and cover the leaves completely with clean water. Shake the greens under the water to loosen any dirt. Gently pull out your greens and discard the dirty water. Repeat this process as necessary until you can ensure that your greens have been thoroughly cleaned. Once the leaves have been cleaned, remove your greens and dry them using a paper towel. After they've been dried, they are ready to eat. Remember, greens should not be washed until right before use. Washing leafy greens before storing can potentially promote bacterial growth and enhance spoilage. Be sure to reach out in the comments section of this video or to one of our nutrition educators directly if you have any questions, comments, or concerns. Thank you all so much for watching, and I look forward to hearing from you soon.
Hello, my name is Alicia and I am a nutrition educator with the Commission on Economic Opportunity. Today we're going to be talking about where you should store your fresh fruits and vegetables to keep them tasty and also to save you money. When you get back from the farmer's market, you want to make sure you are storing your fresh produce properly. By putting it in the correct place, you will end up saving money because it will be fresher and tastier for a longer amount of time. I want you to take a moment to think when you come back from the grocery store or the farmer's market, where are some different places that you store your fresh fruits and vegetables? Here are some places that you should store your fresh produce. In the refrigerator, on the countertop, in the freezer, or in a dry, dark cabinet. We are going to do a quick activity to see if you could guess the proper storage method for each of these produce items. Let's take a look at the first one. Our first produce item we're going to look at are onions. Think when you go to the grocery store or to the farmer's market and you bring home onions, where do you store them? If you said you store your onions in a dry, dark cabinet, you would be correct. Fresh onions should be stored in a dry, dark place. Let's take a look at some zucchini. I want you to take a guess where you think you should store fresh zucchini. Fresh zucchini should be stored in the refrigerator. Let's take a look at another example. Where do you think fresh apples should be stored? Take a few moments to think about it. Apples may be stored on the counter and then moved to the refrigerator to enjoy for a longer period of time. Storing your fresh fruits and veggies the proper way will help your produce stay fresher and tastier for a longer period of time. This will also help you save money. Let's take a look at a few more examples. Here are some examples of what you should store in a dry, dark cabinet. Potatoes and sweet potatoes, garlic, any type of winter squash, and onions. When they're hidden from heat and light, these foods can stay fresh for 1 to 3 months. Here are a few examples of what you can ripen on your countertop. Apples, pears, grapes, cherries, peaches and plums, tomatoes, and different types of melon, such as watermelon, honeydew, and cantaloupe. After they've spent a few days on the counter ripening, you could then enjoy them in the refrigerator for 3 to 10 days longer. Here are some examples of fruit and vegetables that could go directly into your refrigerator when you get home from the market. Berries, such as blueberries or strawberries, broccoli and cauliflower, carrots, celery and herbs, peppers, cucumbers, mushrooms, eggplant, leafy greens, corn, zucchini and other summer squash, and beets. Whole uncut fruit and vegetables can stay fresh uncovered in the refrigerator for 3 to 14 days. Some items, like celery, herbs, and leafy greens, should be kept in a sealed plastic bag until ready for use. Mushrooms should be kept in a paper bag until ready for use. Properly stored produce will taste better and will encourage children to fuel up with fruits and veggies. Did you find any of the above storage methods for different produce surprising? Let us know in the comments section below. Thank you for joining us as we discussed different ways to store your produce to keep it fresher, tastier, and save you money. How do you plan on storing a fruit or veggie this week? Let us know in the comments below or send us a direct message.
effective freezing methods include fresh, blanch, fully cook. Some produce can be frozen right away, while it's still fresh. First, rinse your fresh produce. Place your produce in a container and seal it with a lid. Label your food with the date and freeze it. The next freezing method is known as blanching. This means certain produce has to be boiled before freezing. First, boil water. Boil the produce in water for 5 minutes and strain in a colander. After boiling, submerge the produce in ice water to stop the cooking process. Place in a sealed container and put it in the freezer. Lastly, some produce can be baked, roasted, or steamed before freezing. Bake or roast your produce. Place the produce in a sealed container and freeze. Now that we learned easy ways to freeze our produce, let's pick a method that's best for each produce item. Freezing produce can be a smart and tasty way to extend the season and to encourage children to eat smart and play hard.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to the CEO Nutrition Education channel. My name is Jillian and I am a nutrition educator for the Commission on Economic Opportunity. Today I'm going to demonstrate how to make a delicious carrot and zucchini stir fry. This recipe uses the vegetables carrot, zucchini, and garlic. Before we begin, I'm going to demonstrate the proper way to store these vegetables. An easy way to store carrots and zucchini for a later date is to blanch the vegetables before freezing them. Before you blanch, make sure you wash your hands with soap and warm water for at least 20 seconds. You can store garlic in a dark, dry place, hidden from heat and light. It'll stay fresh for 1 to 3 months. If you are going to use your carrots and zucchini within 3 to 14 days, you can store them in the refrigerator. Now I'm going to demonstrate how to properly store carrots and zucchini in a refrigerator for short-term storage, as well as how to blanch and freeze them for long-term storage. that we know how to store our vegetables, let's get cooking. If you haven't already, wash your hands with soap and warm water for at least 20 seconds.
For the raw corn recipe salad, you will need 4 ears of corn, which can be stored in plastic wrap in the husks in a refrigerator, tomatoes, which can be stored in a pantry until ripe and then in the refrigerator, onions, which can be stored in a dark pantry, vinegar, vegetable oil, salt and pepper, and cilantro, which is best stored in the refrigerator. Also, materials are cutting board, knife, mixing bowl, airtight container, and a colander for rinsing. Optional ingredients include beans, bell peppers, limes, and jalapenos.
Hello everyone, my name is Isabel Mahalik and I'm going to be sharing with you a great non-cook recipe for the summer months on getting produce from the farmer's market. So what I have decided to prepare today is a raw corn salad, and with that you can get all the ingredients from the local farmer's market, and this is great to store for the entire week, so that way you have a nice side dish option or snack option for the remainder of the week, and it is easy meal planning as well as very nutrient dense. So I'm going to go ahead and get started, and with that we are going to wash our hands. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and wash my hands, make sure it's nice and warm, and we're just going to get some antibacterial soap and go ahead and lather up for 20 seconds as recommended by the CDC to remove all the dirt and germs, since we are working with raw vegetables. And after we have washed our hands, we're going to go ahead and collect our produce we have gotten from the farmer's market. Now, what I have got here still has the husks on it, so we are going to go ahead and clean our produce. I've got my onion, tomatoes, and go ahead and clean it using a colander so it'll be easy to run the water, and I'll show you that right here. Alright, so I have my colander here. We're going to go ahead and wash our corn. So I'll show you how to do that with one of our corn husks. We are going to turn this slightly warm and go ahead and peel away any of the husks that the corn may have. This is to ensure that there are no dirt leftovers from collecting the corn. And you can see here that we have some nice, great yellow and white corn. So we'll go ahead and break off that husk. And just get any of the strings off so it's easier to eat and avoid any choking. And after we have rinsed all that and gotten the corn nice and clean, we can let it dry so we can then cut off the kernels. After we have finished cleaning our corn, we're going to go ahead and clean our tomatoes to remove any dirt that may have happened during collecting. So we're just going to pour those into our colander, give those a nice good rinse, and nicely just graze over them to get any of that dirt or leftover dust from the farm. Since this is fresh, we can ensure there is not a lot of processing that goes into our vegetables and ensures a nice healthy option. Also, we are going to give our cilantro a nice quick rinse just to rid out any of that dirt that might have been picked up along the way of harvesting. And we're going to head and let this dry. That way we can go ahead and chop this up for later. Now that we have all of our ingredients cleaned, we're going ahead and slice up our corn for our salad. So I like to take a large knife and make sure we tuck those fingers in and just slice right down the side of the corn to get all of those kernels off. And there you go. So I'm going to chop off the rest of this corn very fast and move on to the next vegetable. After I've cut off all the kernels from my cobs, I'm going to go ahead and place them into the bowl to get ready to mix with the rest of the vegetables. Next item is going to be our tomatoes. Now for this, I'm using cherry tomatoes, which you could also use large heirloom tomatoes. But for the cherry, I'm just going to slice those down the middle and place them on the flat side so they are easier to cut again. And we're going to use about a cup of these that would equivalent to 2 heirloom tomatoes. Now that I have all of my tomatoes chopped, I'm going to go ahead and put them in the bowl with our corn. This is going to add a nice, great texture and flavor to the salad. Our next item is going to be our onion. So when we go ahead and peel our onion, or we can give it a chop at the root so the peel is easier to get off. There is a lot of talk about getting watery eyes when cutting an onion, but my trick is always use a sharp knife that will prevent all of the odors that come from the onion when chopping from spreading around the room and just create a nice fine chop. After we have our onion all finely chopped, we are going to add it into the bowl and get ready for our next ingredient to slice, which is cilantro. Alright, I've got my fresh cilantro here from the farmer's market, and I'm going to go ahead and give this a light chop. Now we're going to collect all of the cilantro, tightly grab it by the front where the leaves are, and take your knife and just give small cuts right on the leaves. This way the cilantro is finely chopped and you can control the leaves as you cut. Now that I've got my cilantro in my measuring cup, I'm going to go ahead and put this in the bowl with the rest of the salad. Look at that color. Now we're going to go ahead and make our dressing for the salad. This will help to incorporate all of the flavors and giving it an added flavor bonus. So we are going to take a 1/4 cup of white vinegar into our measuring cup. Now I'm going to go ahead and add 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil right into our cup for mixing. And now salt and pepper to taste. I like a lot of pepper, and I will grind this up right into my bowl. Now we're going to go ahead and give this a good mix and pour that over our salad. After this is all poured on, we are going to mix up the entire salad bowl to incorporate all of those great vegetables that we put in. It's bringing out a nice, great color and is a lot of room to adapt to what you like. If you're going to use something like beans, we would rinse these out and drain them and go ahead and add them straight into them. Since beans in a can do not need cooked, you can also just stick them right into the bowl with the rest of the salad, adding some extra protein and fiber. Now, if we have leftovers for this salad, we are going to put them in something that is airtight and will fit in your refrigerator if you would like to use it for later. And the great thing about this salad is if you leave it for a couple hours in the refrigerator, the flavors of all of the different vegetables will incorporate and create a great salad for later. Thank you for watching, and please reach out to CEO Nutrition Education if you have any questions about this video. Thank you.
Thank you for watching this CEO Nutrition video on the raw corn salad recipe.